All right, on today's episode of the Radical Fabulatorium, I am speaking with Sekou Lumumba, drummer for Big Wreck. They released their new record, The Rest of the Story, on October 24th, so go ahead and check that out. They're going to be hitting the road as well in support of the record, so jump on over to bigwreckmusic.com to see if they're coming to a city near you. All right, here we go, my chat with Sekou. All right, thanks a lot for joining me on the Radical Fabulatorium today, Sekou. Stoked you're able to give me some of your time.
Absolutely, my friend. Glad we could reschedule. Thanks to my, I'm 52, so I'm going to blame that's why I was sitting in the wrong lobby for 24 minutes.
It's okay. That's how it happens, you know? Like, I've done the same thing myself, so, you know, like, everyone's throwing links around these days, so.
Yeah, that's the thing, yeah. That's exactly what happened. I looked at the wrong link line.
Plus, I know I'm kind of the weirdo using Google Meet when I'm sure most people are using Zoom, so.
I prefer Google Meet actually than Zoom.
That's really? Me, okay, well that makes me feel good. Yeah. So the new record, The Rest of the Story, out last Friday, right? October 24th. So how's the you getting any reaction back from the fans or the industry?
I try to not get too caught up with that because you put too many expectations on what people think, then you get let down, right? And I didn't want to do that because we love this album very, very much. When I'm hearing bits and pieces that are kind of coming back at me so far, everyone is like, and I take this stuff with a huge rock of salt, never mind a grain of salt. Mm-hmm. I've heard a few times people saying it's the best effort the band's ever had. As a fan of the band, I don't believe that personally. I think the second record is the best the band's ever done. Followed very closely by the first record. I'm a weirdo that way. But I'm super, super, super proud of these songs. And I'm really glad that from what I've heard, I mean, it's tough if you kind of are on a black cloud from that stuff, it's tough to not hear anything but the good stuff. So, but so far so good. It seems great. The single Believer has been number 3 on the rock radio charts on Billboard Canada for 22 weeks now, which is insane.
Wow. Yeah. Nice.
That's a good sign. It's the first single off the album. So we have to kind of let that song now. We were going to put out the second single by now, but like, because this song has such a tail to it, we just kind of, let's just let it do its thing for a little bit. And then we'll follow it up, in due time. So, but we're just really proud of it, man. It's a very eclectic record. There's a lot of different looks, a lot of different sounds happening. There's stuff on there that shouldn't be on there.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, there's songs like a song "Holy Roller," for example. I mean,
oh man, that song rips. So good.
It does rip. I love it. But it was more. It was. I think Ian sent it to Dave. Now, kind of listen to this. Like he sent a demo. Like listen to this. Isn't this ridiculous? Like yeah, we're doing that. We've got to do that. What are you talking about? It's ridiculous. We have to do it. And it's both like super challenging, like really, really tough to play. Like when we play it live, we've only played it once live at the show we did for the album launch. And in order to do it, Ian can't sing and play it. There's just too much data, too much information going on. So we had our auxiliary guitar player, or sometime guitar player, Paulo Neto, join us. So we had Ian and Paulo on guitars, and then Chris, our rhythm guitar player, sang, so that he didn't have to play guitar at all. That's the only way we could manage doing it live.
Okay,
it's just such a stupid song, right? But it's stupid, but still technically really hard. So yeah, it's there's certain songs like why'd you do that? Like what was the point of that? But we're really happy with it because it's goofy fun. And then there's songs just kind of in terms of their relationship to each other don't really have one. A lot of bands will tend to put out understandably music that has if not the same theme musically, certainly if there are pauses in that theme, it'll be relative to, you know what I mean? The whole album effort. This one was decidedly disparate. We recorded a whole bunch of songs coming from a bunch of different directions, ideas that came out of Ian's head. And a lot of it were his influences, which are all over the place. They go from proggy stuff to more poppy stuff. And so that's kind of what we did. And Nick Raskulinecz, our producer, was really, he's worked with everybody. So he was really able to bring these songs out of Ian that were like, you know what, whatever happens with this record, whatever doesn't happen, we are super happy with this, really happy with this effort. So yeah, it's good to have people hear it now and then. If they like it. If they have feelings, I love it. We love it. So that's what counts.
Yeah, it's important to make the art for yourself while understanding there's some expectations, but it's important to do something you're proud of course.
Yeah, but it can be tough to do that in this day and age because, obviously you want to make money. You know what I mean? You want to put something out that makes money. Ian is certainly more than capable of writing some very dumbed down songs to make money. And I just don't think that was the like you can do it. It's difficult to do, but you can do it. I think ultimately, if you look back on it and you're not happy with it, you only have yourself to blame if you don't do that, right? If you don't serve the music, ultimately. So
yeah, I agree. Well, I wanted to kind of start at the end of the record and talk about Hills, but just because we were talking, just because you brought up how kind of the flow of the album and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. The three songs that the kind of the batch that perked up my ears in the way it flows is how it goes from Around into Laws of Man into Dog with a Gun. Mm-hmm. And I would say like that's a good example. Maybe that's a good example of covering all of Big Rec's ground that you hear on this record, because Around is like, it shows that it's like, I don't know what the right word is, if it's simpler or whatever, but it's like it's catchy and it's like got just kind of like the nice skeleton of a song. Then Laws of Man, that's just like that cool tune with just acoustic, basically, is what I hear anyway. It's kind of like metallic sounding acoustic. And then Dog with a Gun is another ripper, kind of like Holy Roller style. Yeah.
I mean, so you were asking specific about the order of them or the songs themselves?
Yeah, kind of how they flow into each other. Like I kind of enjoy the sequencing, I guess is what I'm talking about. The sequencing of a record.
Sure, yeah.
And those three together, I just kind of the way they roll into each other. I just find it kind of fascinating.
Gotcha. And I think you nailed it. I think that is a, and maybe not so subtle if you can pick up on it that easily. But I think it's more meant to show exactly that. Like, hey, we're not going to go in one direction from when we start this. When you start here, we're not going one direction. And for what it's worth, people don't generally listen to their music the way I listen to my music, which was start to start. And at the end, we live in a very Spotify streamer kind of, delivery system. So you'll jump all over. You listen to this, or you'll be in your car. So maybe you'll hear 3 songs of that album and pick up or jump back to whatever it is, right? So it's a different experience these days than certainly when I would have put on a cassette or a CD or something. So the idea here is just very much like, we're not trying to give you a roadmap of songs so much as we're trying to say, this is this room, this is this room, this is this room. The songs were all written at different times and came together, at different points. Like he sent demos of some of that stuff in pieces, off and on over the years, and it didn't, like a song like Laws of Man, for example. We had done a version that was full band. Oh, cool. We have a version that's full band. And then Nick was like, hey, he just came in one day, we were supposed to track it, and he said, I would love to hear this song in acoustic. I just want to hear it in acoustic. There's a certain way of thinking, which is that there's if a certain song, like Laws of It or Around, actually is a perfect example, but like there's certain songs that if you strip away everything and just put an acoustic guitar in your hand, you could play that song in front of a campfire and everyone would be like, oh, right? So that was his thinking very much with Laws of Man. It's a great tune. What if we stripped all that stuff out and then you have what you hear, which is, a very starkly different version than what we have as a band of that song. So just the idea of just to show that these different things are possible within Big Rec these days,
And okay, yeah, that's really cool. I'd love to hear the full band version. That would be really good. So when you're working, can you say Nick's last name again? Because I've never known how to pronounce it.
Dude, it's a mouthful. Raskulinecz.
Yeah, because he's done a ton of awesome work. So,
oh yeah.
relying on him, his judgment, how does that play into, I know you just explained a little bit of it, but how does that play into the overall recording process?
Oh, I mean, you generally speaking, if you're bringing in a producer for your album, you would be shooting yourself in your foot if you didn't listen to them, right? Like if you're paying someone to come in and take these songs to the goal line, you're working against yourself. So a lot of times what that means is very much coming into the room and being very open to ideas that you did not have, ideas that run counterintuitive to ones you do have, and things that just don't seem like they would work, and all of us got very comfortable. And me, I'm also a session drummer, so that's part of what I have to do generally, is to be open and be like, oh, you want me to play the snare on the 1 and 3 and the kick on the 2 and 4? You got it, so that was already kind of my mindset. But everyone has to have, including Ian, when you're going in with something, you can't be too precious about it. Even though you've written it, you have to be able to give it up and have someone say, hey, I'm hearing it this way, because I didn't write it, but I've also worked with the Deftones and Rush, and the list just kind of goes on and on. So you're like, okay, cool. What are you hearing? Mm-hmm. So there were absolutely times where he had ideas that Ian was like, I don't know, man. I just don't know. And then God bless him, he just put his hands up and went, okay, Nick, I'll let's try it. And then 2-3 takes in, a few listens in, it's like, yeah, that was actually absolutely the move. So you learn really quickly, like it's best to do that. It's just best to let go of it and let someone else have it,
And hear the idea before turning it down or accepting it, right? Like
yeah, exactly. I tell this story every so often that, like, as a session drummer, I used to do that. I used to tell you why, like, you'd come in, hey, I'm thinking of doing this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, here's why that doesn't work, and give a person a technical reason. And it's not your job. It's not your job, the session musician. Your job is to come in and serve the artist and ultimately serve the song they want to put out there. So if you're playing something that you think works, and someone says they want you to try something else, then you have to try it. You just have to. And I found doing that more so yields more good than it does, like, and very worse. So like, okay, well, I guess we can't put the snare on the 1 and 3. Okay, so you could go back to, like, at the very worst that happens, right? Mm-hmm. So but in terms of writing songs, it's good for everyone to be on the same page, and certainly the songwriter, someone like Ian, to be not too precious and say, here's my baby, disfigure it. and make it more beautiful.
Yeah. Kill my darlings is what I keep hearing people say. Kill your darlings. Yeah,
that's great.
But I understand how that's difficult. As the songwriter, of course, you're emotionally attached to it. And of course, a producer being not emotionally attached to it is kind of one of the benefits.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because what will also happen too, which I've seen happen a bunch before, which is really awful, is like the producer's like, why don't we just try it? And the artist's like, okay, let's try it. And then the song comes out, and it's like, yeah, and that didn't work. Well, hey, I mean, we tried it. And the producer is like shrugging his shoulders off on the next gig. So he's like, well, we tried it. And the artist's like, yeah, we tried it.
We got to live with it.
It doesn't work out, but I think that's not the case here. We definitely feel really strongly that, like, before, like, we've had these songs tracked and banked since 23.
Okay.
So we have been dying for people to hear this material, and we're super happy that it's finally out,
Yeah, you can kind of be stewing on those songs for a while, eh?
Oh, man. Yeah, it's tough. It was tough. And it gets easier, but you just tell yourself that in time, it's not like it's going to be buried in a tomb forever. In time, people will be able to hear it, and it just feels good to, like, we know that it's good. Mm-hmm. We know that Nick feels it's good, and that so, like, it's like, I'm a musician. I'm a session musician. I record on a bunch of stuff. It's crazy for me to listen to this album and be like, that's my band, because that sounds like that could win a Grammy. That album, like, it's that good. Like, it's quite good. So yeah, super proud of it, and really blessed to have had Nick, help us bring those songs to where they are.
Yeah. That's wicked. Maybe we could do. So I'm a bass player first. That's kind of my roots. Is
cool.
I grew up playing bass, and
I
Dave.
was going to play bass before drums. That
You
was
played?
my instrument.
Oh yeah, cool.
I was gonna, and then I had some friends who steered me to the dark path.
The drummers in high demand. The dark path. They probably needed a drummer, eh? Is that what the story?
No, they were drummers. They were drummers, and I didn't have any friends, and they kind of took me in. So just by virtue of wanting to be in with my friends, I started figuring out what drums were.
Okay, that's funny.
But go ahead. You were saying you're a bass player.
Yeah, well, I just want to shout out the bass player in Big Wreck, Dave McMillan, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I don't understand how he can get away with the busy. Busy's not the right word. Like, it kind of is. Sometimes it is real busy and creative, and he covers a wide range, and yet it still locks in perfectly with your drums, and it doesn't seem to get in the way of the vocal melody. So, like, ever since Albatross, I've been kind of fascinated with how he pulls that off. So, you as a drummer, I was just kind of curious, like, what's it like to work with a bass player who's like surgical or something? I don't know how to describe it.
Surgical is a very, very good word. So, thankfully, as you're a bass player, we will have the shorthand, you and I, that I play with a lot of bass players. And there's a few guys I play with there are two guys I play with who, when I sit on my instrument and start playing, and they start playing, it feels like I've engaged the second half of my capabilities and my rhythmic responsibilities. Did you know that feeling? Where you meet a drummer and it's like, oh, you know where you're going. I know where you're going. I know, you know where I'm going. Okay, cool. And it's not said. It's an empathic relationship that you can make better, but at the very start, it's not just being good at your instrument. It's not just being a good bass. It's locking with a person. It's creating a unique connection with the person.
Mm-hmm.
And Dave is one of those people that it happened with me instantly. We had known each other for years because we both do gigger stuff around, but we never played together. Played with a lot of the same people, but never played together until Big Wreck. And when, I don't want to brag about it. We shouldn't be as good as we are with spending as little time together, outside rehearsal as we are. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
He is really special, dude. And his ears and his instincts are something that you cannot teach. I play with a lot of guys, and I play a lot of good guys, and you cannot teach that instinct. He has a way to, I don't know how he does it, but he makes me do it too, where he will musically get out of the way before something's about to happen to support it. Or if he knows that he has a spot where he can put something, he will do that instead. But he has those instincts to know exactly where to go. And it's scary when you have him in your ears. And he doesn't come by like it's natural, but he also works a lot at it. He practices a lot. And he'll practice on stuff. He's told me that he's practiced on stuff so his click will be, instead of, I practice the 16th notes because I want the subdivisions so I know exactly where everything is, right? Dave doesn't. Dave will practice the eighths and preferably quarters because he wants that space and he wants to be able to know exactly where that space is to work with it and work. Dude, he's on a different level. And I'm fortunate enough that I can reach out and pull that and work with that, as opposed to being being ignorant of it, being unaware of it. And I feel like it's such a subtle thing that it would be very easy to be unaware of it. He's really, really special. And I feel playing with him, I feel that we are special together because we both get in on a molecular level. Like we both understand exactly what he's doing. And sometimes we understand it in ways that Jay's like this. Sometimes it's like, and I know Dave thinks this too, okay, I know what works here. I can't play it yet, but I know what works here.
Yeah. And
so he will go home and he'll figure it out and come back with something that works or a tone that makes sense because he just understands him inherently. It's the same way for me on drum. That's why we've worked together for such a long time. And and it just Dave. And so when I kind of came back into the fold, you know, I was obviously I hadn't done Big Wreck before, but I'd done Thornley before. When I came back in the fold with Dave there now, that trio was just like an open channel of kind of ideas, and like, oh, so you're gonna like there's a song we have a song called Ghost, no, not Ghost, sorry, Control, where it's just like a slow, and I started thinking, you know what would feel good on this is if I really laid the snare back, like behind the click, like really buried it, and it just kind of kept the groove where it is, but just put the snare a little behind, just kind of subtly just pull it back a bit. Before I knew what was happening, Dave was on top of that. So Dave was playing his part still, but still leaning back on my snare and then coming over to look at me and just make that. So you don't get that often. Mm-hmm. And when you get that, you have to really be respectful and appreciative of that. And that we have that in Big Wreck is it's the perfect place to have it, because you want to have that behind Ian. And we're all getting to a point now where, sorry, I'm rambling a bit here, but we're getting to a point where we had just done this Creed tour in the summer. And when you're playing those big rooms, you just can't be as precious about, you know, because it just doesn't translate as well. Mm-hmm. You have to think about, because that's what translates. That's what I saw Creed and, you know, and Flip, the drummer in Creed, do every night. Like, and then I would watch him with soundcheck, and he's a blistering drummer, but during the shows, he's just playing super meat and potatoes parts. So taking all that consideration, you just lean back even more now and let the Big Wreck song just be a Big Wreck song. Let Ian sing, let the guitar playing kind of do his thing where it does his thing. And then you're just laying back in the cut with the rhythm section. That's, you know, Chris, our rhythm guitar player, is on the exact same page. So it's just, that's how it works, you know, it's just understanding that you have some really special dynamics and big ears, as we call them. And if you have big ears, you can make a lot more smart musical choices. And so Dave he just has the biggest ears, and he helps me make smart musical choices when I play with him.
Okay. That's really interesting.
Sorry,
no, that's super cool. It gives me such a nice little perspective on it. And the smart choices is a good way to put it, because it's like the Big Wreck stuff is always so dense and like obviously well constructed, but the melodies are soaring over top, you know, and the leads, even again, the leads are smart sounding leads, but they just kind of like, it's not overdoing it, you know, it's not too far down the technical rabbit hole.
I mean, it definitely can be. So I appreciate you saying that. But yeah, ultimately, like, I think that's where Ian got to too, especially on this Creed tour, of like, you know, these are good songs. We don't need to like hit people in the head with like, hey, check this out, you know, like, which I think he and I are the worst. Like Dave and Chris are happy to like just play the song. Ian and I always want to, or it's called cutting heads. We always want to like show, like, just go for blood, you know. We just want to like, and sometimes I'll tell him, like, I have a talkback mic. I'll tell him during like on a song where I know he's about to go off, I'm like, I'm coming after you. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So we absolutely love that part of it. But since the Creed tour, we're really leaning into just like, we don't have to prove anything. Certainly he does not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no question about the level of technical capabilities here. What if we were just with that off of your bandwidth? What if we were just to worry about the song, like only the song, and just be present for the song? So we've been doing that for a little while now, and I record everything playing and watching it. It's insane, just because like that stuff's fun, and we'll still do it here and there during the set. But ultimately, and certainly with the rest of the story, while there are solos and bits here, you will hear on that record that the drum choices, the bass choices are very much about the song. There's not a lot of spots where there's like blistering things happening, just because it would have just taken attention away from what ultimately were a cast of really beautiful, you know, compositions, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are a couple bass leads, at least, you know, on a couple tracks. So those do get snuck in there. You mentioned there was two bass players. Do you mind just quickly before we wrap it up? Who's the second bass player you mentioned that you kind of had this like unspoken connection with? if you feel like
he's a local guy.
Okay, cool.
He's a local guy named Calvin Beal, who I still do, but not as much because Big Rec's kind of the priority, but I've done a lot of sessions. So across R&B and kind of jazz and pop stuff, I've worked with this guy a lot since 97, basically. And so we've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gigs together, been on dozens of recordings, and it's just he's an incredible bass player. Like, and he plays great with everybody. So he sounds good with whoever he plays with, this guy, Calvin. But he will tell you, and I will agree that when we play together, it's the same as the Dave thing. It's just like a switch. And it's just someone just gloms onto your shoulder, and it's like, okay, well, I guess that's what we're doing now. And what will happen with Calvin is that he is different. He and I will play the same bill or the same phrase that we've never played before, coming into a section or whatever. And we'll just look at each other like, what? Hi. But it's happened so often, Jay, that like at this point we don't look at each other. We're just like, yeah. Because it's just, so when you have that, it's when you can take it for granted, that's nuts, you know.
It's special.
So it's special. And what the knock-on effect it has, which kind of sucks for everybody else, is like, you have to go, when you play another bass player, it's like, oh, he's really good, but he's not Dave/Calvin. You know, like he's good, he's awesome, yeah. and we're definitely locking, but that other person that is formed when we play together does not show up, you know. So when you have this, and I'm just, again, I can't underline enough that I have it with this guy in this band. Like, I could not be more fortunate, you know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, very Calvin Beal, Dave McMillan. Look them up. Look up the first guy. You know the second guy.
Yeah, that's wicked. That's really amazing to hear. And good. Maybe I would recommend everyone to listen to recommend Hills. The way that the track, like the bass and drums are married on that song. Also, something about that song feels appropriate for October. Like, there's a vibe in that song that like makes a lot of sense that it came out around Halloween. This is getting recorded on October 30th. So something about that too. In general, great way to end the record too.
Yeah, man, right on. Glad you like it. It's definitely, every note counts in that song.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's no wasted notes there.
Oh.
So yeah, I think that one is even scaled back even more from where it started, just to have it be more, every note is
Yeah. That's wicked. Well, thanks a lot, Sekou. Everyone, like, the record's out now everywhere, of course. It's on streaming everywhere. I'd pick up a physical copy. Is it on CD and vinyl? Did you guys press? Do you know?
I don't know if it's on CD. I know it's on vinyl for sure. I don't know if it's on. I feel terrible. I don't know if it's on CD yet.
Okay, I should know too. I'm a CD. I grew up in the CD era, so I'm very pro CD.
Oh, nice.
So
very cool.
Yeah, and you guys I know coming out here in the new year in Moncton anyway, Moncton, New Brunswick. So that's a short drive away. So anyone who's listening, go check out the show.
Make sure and come out, dude.
Yeah, I'll do my best to get up there. Yeah.
If you need, how far is that from you?
Oh, it's just about an hour and a half. So not too far.
If you need to get on the guest list, hit me up and let me know.
Yeah. I might. Yeah, maybe I'll take you up on that. Maybe I'll take you up on that offer.
All right, man.
Wicked. All right, thanks a lot, Sekou. I really appreciate your time. I'm glad we lined this up.
I'm glad we were able to meet on Google Meetups, not Zoom.
That's right. Yes, Google Meet in solidarity. Thank you. Awesome. Thanks a lot.
All right, man. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. And that was Sekou Lumumba from Big Rec. Their brand new record, The Rest of the Story, is out now. Go ahead and track that down any way you can. And yeah, check out their website, bigrecmusic.com, to see if they're going to be hitting a city or town near you. Thanks for listening.